Welcome back to The Real Wild. My name's Julie, and I am your only host today because today our guest star is Cate.
Oh, goodness.
Cate, introduce yourself. Tell me all about you. I want to know what makes you tick, what keeps you busy. Let's get into it.
Why
Let's
did
get real.
my palms start sweating?
I don't know. I am on the show this week, and this is your deal. So now it's all about you. So tell me about you.
Oh my goodness. Where do we start? I am a full-time boudoir photographer who got her start with automotive photography originally. I also help lead race teams to running successful programs. I'm very, very detail orientated in that matter. And I will be managing a race team for the 2025 season, which I'm very excited about. My boudoir business has taken a few different transitions over the years, especially as I have taken a step back from automotive photography over the past couple of years. And my boudoir business has definitely transitioned into more of automotive boudoir and focusing more in on creative sessions and being able to create different sets and different moods and bring out different emotions from each of the clients that I work with and the images and the artwork that I produce. So it's been really exciting, very stressful, but very exciting, very, very busy and chaotic for sure.
Well, that's a lot for one person.
I think that's the most I've ever rambled on about myself in like a concise-ish way. I'm kind of proud, honestly.
Round of applause.
I didn't even practice it.
Well, that's good because you didn't know what was coming.
That's true.
So, what got you into the boudoir photography business?
A combination of things. In my younger days, I was very keen on taking my own like lewds, not ever really nudes, but like my own lingerie photos, and I got really good at it. Doing it for myself. I never really ever shared those with too many people, but eventually, like here and there, somebody maybe was lucky enough to get a photo or two from me. And being that I have always ended up in very heavily male dominated industries, naturally I end up with quite a few male friends. Me and their girlfriends and or wives are typically pretty cool because they realize that I am one of the bros to these guys. They call me when they need like shop recommendations and need to know these kinds of like that kind of information. So over the years, every once in a while, one of my guy friends would end up single and start talking to a new person and like really starting to vibe with them, and they'd start dating. Things would start getting a little bit more serious, and they'd be getting a little bit more frisky with their text messages. And they would realize that the girls that they were talking to weren't necessarily super comfortable with their bodies themselves and just weren't necessarily going to be the kind of girls that would be taking photos of themselves, whether that was just like simple selfies or the more frisky type text or images, I should say. And they wanted to learn how they could be more supportive to these women in their lives, as well as more encouraging and help them to be more comfortable in their bodies and give them a way that they could potentially see themselves the way that these guys were seeing them, as absolutely gorgeous, like absolutely loving the stretch marks, realizing how much their body has been through and everything that they've carried over the years, And they wanted to allow these women to see themselves through a softer lens. So they reached out to me and they were like, hey, so I have this new girl in my life. Things are going really, really well. Like, I've noticed that she's having some of these insecurities. How can I be more supportive? Like, can you coach me through how to like take photos like this so that like maybe I can help show her this side of her, or like I can, like we can work on it together and I can be more of a supportive partner for her. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, we can work with this. And so slowly those like kind of conversations started occurring more in my life. And I realized that it was something I was good at. And eventually I had a few of the girlfriends that had reached out and they were like, hey, they said that you were the one that like originally gave them pointers on like this stuff. Like, would you ever be interested in like taking those photos for me? Like, we get along when we're hanging out in group settings. Like, I'm comfortable with you. Like, I think that this could be a fun thing. And I was like, yeah, like I know how to work a camera pretty well. Like, I already have a business going for a different genre. I'm not going to ever go into weddings because that the thought of shooting a wedding absolutely stresses me out. That's entirely too many people for me. My personal energy wouldn't be able to handle that. But working with somebody one on one is much more my stuff. So I was like, yeah, like we could absolutely do this. And so it just kind of spiraled from there and quickly, quickly fell in love with it. And yeah, went full time with that. And it's been a ride ever since. Been real wild, but I wouldn't trade it. It's been such a good creative outlet for me, and the fact that I can help build confidence in others and allow others to one have the safe space to be able to open up and be vulnerable with themselves first and foremost, and allow them the space to express themselves and let their feelings out in a way that's truly authentic is just such an incredible feeling being able to be a witness to that.
That's amazing. I mean, to just be able to be somebody's safe space and let them get that vulnerable.
It definitely is. And I always call them little light bulb moments in my sessions because it's absolutely normal for my clients to walk in and be absolutely nervous as hell. Like, I would be a little bit more concerned if somebody walked in and they weren't at least the slightest bit anxious about what they're walking into, especially when a lot of times my clients have never actually met me in real life prior to walking into the studio. So meeting a stranger for the first time, knowing that you are going to likely be stripped down a good down and dirty, not necessarily down and dirty, although sometimes we will chat about that. I do have a session that does require me getting a little dirty. So we'll circle back to
Intriguing.
that. We'll circle back to that. But no, just stripping down the majority of their clothing because most of my clients do end up in lingerie. Some of them do end up fully nude. So there's a lot that can happen. But at the same time, I've had clients that have wanted to be in a more quote unquote elegant format or presentation. And they'll do like really like super pretty dresses, or some want to do just a more everyday look. And so it might be like a crop top and jeans, or like a matching like sports bra and panty set type of vibes. Like, it can be very modest as well. None of my sessions are really about what you're wearing. It's about how you're feeling. And like I said, I always call them little light bulb moments because, like I mentioned, most of my clients walk in with some sort of nervousness or some sort of insecurities that we've taken on as our own, even though those insecurities aren't necessarily our own. and are things that have been influenced by generations before us, social media, society, things of that nature. So learning how to like silence that inner critic and be able to move past those moments of insecurity and look beyond that and see what is actually there and not what you've been told is there. It's so freaking powerful because I always show my clients the back of my camera as we're going through their session so they can see exactly how they're looking like in real time. And it's so normal at the beginning of the session for people to let that inner critic really be talking and be like, ooh, I don't really love this one. Like, I don't love the way my stomach looks. Like, oh my gosh, my arms. Like, and I go, okay, well, cover that up then. Look at a different area of the photo. What do you feel? Look at it like you're your best friend. What are you saying? Swap the face out. Imagine your best friend's face is covering your face. It's your best friend in that photo instead. Would you be picking them apart like that? No, probably not. So why are you doing it to yourself? Why are you treating others better than you treat yourself?
You really are your own worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're big, you're small, even if you have the perfect body, it doesn't matter. You're still going to find flaws. Like, I mean, I've watched Mean Girls, and you've even got the Mean Girls that are like, oh my stomach's not flat enough, and I gotta lose that 5 pounds. But
Mm-hmm.
really, it's like everybody else in their eyes, she's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but in her eyes, she's not.
Yep. So learning how to silence that inner critic and talk back and go, actually, like, that's not true. Like, yeah, my stomach has rolls when I'm bent. That's a fucking natural thing. Everyone's body does that. My body would do that. Your body would do that. Becky next door's body would do that. I don't know if there's a Becky next door. I don't know if there's a Becky in a 3-block radius of where we are currently even, but you get the point. It's natural. And so many of us have been told over the years and growing up, whether it's from our parents, from others in our family, from people at school, from social media, seeing things in magazines, just everything that is so stuffed in front of our face and into our heads, all of those things surface so easily because they're the loudest things screamed to us. But how often are we actually sitting back and thinking about how our body is actually supposed to function? Like, yeah, it's natural for us to all have rolls. If you're bent over and touching your toes, if you aren't having some sort of creasing in your skin,
I'd be worried.
I feel like you're potentially not alive or human because, like, how?
Trying to think of it, it's just I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't.
You're not a piece of paper. You're more like a piece of aluminum foil than a piece of paper. If you try bending a piece of aluminum foil, it's gonna crinkle.
Yes.
If you fold a piece of paper too fast, it's just gonna absolutely snap it, like bend in half. And you're gonna have, again, a crease. So,
Multiple.
exactly. So, it's learning how to realize how much of what has been told to us just simply isn't actually true, and learning how to move through that and learning to appreciate it. Like, there's so many of us that have either had children or have struggled with fertility or have gained weight or lost weight over the time of our lives. Like, you and I personally, we have very different body types.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee we both have stretch marks.
Mm-hmm. That's part of life.
Yeah. You've had a child. I haven't. Like, we've lived very different life experiences. And yet, we still both have stretch marks. It's a normal thing.
It really is. I mean, nobody's going to be the same as another person,
No.
no matter how many surgeries and all that. And even then, you're really just not your true authentic self. I mean, maybe you're trying to cope with something and wanting to change a piece of you to maybe feel that true authentic self,
Mhm.
but that's all a mindset too. It's all about how you think of things and what your image of a perfect body or perfect person is not going to be the same image as mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life is crazy. Well, now let's get into this new new gig you got going on here. The managing of a race team. Yeah. How the hell did that even end up happening? Like, what has been going on? Tell me about it.
How much can I actually talk about this? Right now, there are NDAs in place, so I am very limited on what I can say. However, I can say that this is something that I have been working on for multiple years now. I'm very, very, very excited about it. I've been in the background helping teams over the past 3, 4 years. Oh gosh, how long has it been? I don't know. Something like that. With organizing their programs and setting them up for better success. And I was doing that at a very surface level in the behind the scenes. And I'm really excited to be able to do an absolute deep dive into this now and super freaking excited about it. I absolutely all our freaking spreadsheets going. Very, very freaking excited. It's been an absolute roller coaster of a time, but it's I'm so excited. Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's potentially going to shake shake some shit up. Wow, that was way harder to say than it needed to be.
Were you trying to say a tongue twister over there?
Apparently, I don't know.
Let's get it together here.
I'm trying as I just hit my head.
You look like my child at more and more, the lost chaotic mess.
Listen, her and I are little besties. It's fine.
She wanted today to flood her dollhouse in our yard. Because I told her she could go run through the sprinkler because it's hot out. So I'm like, you want to go outside and run through a sprinkler? You go right ahead. You want to put it over the garden and run through the mud in between the plants to water the garden while you run through the sprinkler? I don't care. You're taking a bath tonight anyways. Go get as muddy as you want. Just get out of my house. My only stipulation, get out my house. And you can do whatever you want. And all of a sudden Kyle comes in. She's trying to flood her toy house. I'm like, no.
Oh, goodness.
She really takes it to heart of whatever she wants. She's going to do.
My nephew just turned 6 a couple days ago, and so we had his birthday party yesterday. I don't know how this child is this old already. He was my baby. My absolute baby. Like, I was there with his mom through, like, her entire pregnancy. Like, we did so much together during that time. And, like, I was at the hospital when he was born. I actually lost one of my piercings in the NICU the morning after.
Wow.
I still don't know how that happened, but I slept in the hospital with her, like, when he was born, whole 9 yards. I got the message that her water broke and that she was going into labor. And I texted my boss at the time and said, sorry, not going to be in today. My sister's in labor and I'm on my way to Fargo. And my boss is like, okay, sounds good. It's like, thank God you're a gem of a human and you weren't going to question me because I already told you I wasn't coming in and you just accepted I wasn't. Nothing you said was going to change.
See, my nephew, he turned 18 in April, and that was a really hard pill to swallow that he's 18.
Yeah.
Because that was like the first baby I ever got to like take care of because I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. And it was my oldest brother's first child, like first baby. He had adopted his 2 older ones. So like I wasn't on, but like this was coming fresh from like meeting him in the hospital right after he was born to like all like babysitting and everything. Like that's where I got my foot in the door with taking care of kids. Well, then yeah, and then all of his siblings that came along after him, like I was there. I drove his youngest sibling home from the hospital when she got released.
Yeah.
It was like, why am I'm just bittersweet watching them grow up, turn into their own humans, and you're like, you all like were raised in this one house, but you're all so different.
Yeah. Yep.
Your attitudes, the way you look at life, the way things make you feel, what you like to eat, you know, even your allergies are all so different, which I mean, I get, but everything is just so different about each individual one. They look so alike, but they look so different at the same time. It's just crazy how they all come out of the same two people and they look like 6 different ways. And I'm like, don't get it.
Yeah, that's genetics.
Like, it's just crazy how genetics plays into it. Like, you never realize how, you just don't realize like the actual product of genetics until it's born, until it's created a separate way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's whole probability thing. There's a square for it. Yeah.
I don't, science,
that was not my real life of mine.
Science was like not a good suit for me because I don't need to see formulas on paper. I want to see like actual things, like out pictures. This became this. Okay, well, how did this become that? And then you tell me how.
See, I like figuring out that.
No, I don't want to know the how.
There was a time in my life that like the squares and figuring out genetic things was like my absolute peak nerdiness. I love that. But then again, I also wanted to go to college for vet diet or for veterinary medicine. Realized I was paying my own college and didn't want to pay for like 8 years of school. So I decided to change my intended major to agricultural business and went to my number 2 choice school instead. But had a time in my life there, ended up eventually dropping out of college and attempted to join like the quote unquote normal workforce for a hot little while. Hated most of the minutes there. And then eventually I went full time with automotive photography. And yeah, I've been full time with photography ever since. And even though I tried phasing my automotive lifestyle out some, it has just kind of come back in full swing in a different way.
It just came back with a vengeance. Like, ha, you thought you were done with us. Here's even more that you need to take care of now. So you might need to get right on that. And there's no sleep for the week. So good luck.
That bracelet's been sent to me twice today now, and I've only seen 2 people today.
Thanks, Keys. I got you, man. I don't know what your name is, but I know some things.
Great, now he's gonna be worried. It's fine. But yeah, so I get to travel the country even more next summer and do that. And I'm really hyped. I've really enjoyed the perspective switch, and I'm really blessed in the aspect of having been able to experience the automotive industry from so many different facets over the years. I grew up within the automotive industry in a couple different ways, and now seeing how much of my adult life revolves around the automotive industry, it's been really, really fun. And I'm really excited for it. And seeing that my boudoir business is able to also transition into automotive boudoir, I'm really super excited for because it means I get to combine like 2 of my favorite freaking things into one. And I'm hyped.
That's exciting. So we talked about your automotive world. We talked about your boudoir. But then you told me I had to wait to figure out about this down and dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Get into it.
Let's talk about the things that I have going on. So, currently, I think there's like four-ish like special ways that you can work with me. And then obviously doing my normal full session booking, of course, is always an option. However, the four primary ways that you can come hang out with me, get to know me better, and work with me currently are our RSVPs for the Under Wraps Slumber Party are still open. That is an event, an in person small group event that will be held at the beginning of December this year. We are doing a little overnight stay away in Fargo, away from all of our families, the chaos, getting a little break, a little bit of girl time, a little bit of just you time away from everybody in between the chaos of the holidays. And also, we will be able to wrap all of our gifts for our families and everything away from the prying eyes at home. So, and if you guys do need to like drop off to hide presents beforehand, we can work something out there too. And I will like make storage situation happen for you guys because I get it. Some people be real snoopy at home.
I was the Snoop. I stay in the middle of Christmas what I got, regardless of how late my parents did it, because I would just unwrap them in the corner.
Oh no, I'm the biggest sneak. I would go and find the fucking receipts.
I know to get the receipts. I mean, I probably should have, but I was like, no, I want to see it. Then I know for sure what it is. Because they like to pull that bullshit that it's for somebody else. And I was like, no, no.
Exactly. So I am I'm doing that so that we can avoid if you have children or partners at home or best friends that have spare keys to your house, things like that. You can hide it from them.
I said keys that you didn't know that they had spare keys of.
Oh, like, no, that's the thing. We love it though. And also, no, those were given, so it's fine. Originally, it's fine.
They were given permission one time, that means they have forever permission. Okay, and I do have a note in my phone for just keypads for people's garages.
Oh, same.
Because they tell me once and I'm like, okay, well, I ain't going to forget this. And you're never going to allow to change it because you have to tell me again. But at least now it can be like, hey, you want to go let my dogs out for me?
Yeah.
Sure, I got you.
Yeah.
I might go snooping and see what you got in your fridge because, I mean, maybe if there's something.
And I open people's fridges all the time. That is the first thing I look at. And then if there's not enough food, oh my God, I did this to a stranger back in March? Question mark? Kind of a stranger. I'd met them one time in real life previously. I knew them from prior to meeting them in real life for the first time. Anyways, my flight got canceled and I was across the country and I didn't feel like going and getting a hotel room and just having to stay. So I was like, you know what? They didn't kill me like a few days ago. So why not? And I asked them if they wanted to like come grab me from the airport and then followed up quickly. I was like, also, could I like maybe possibly potentially crash with you? Probably should have asked that question first, but here we are, LOL. And they go, yep, no problem, my way. And I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. And we got back to their place, and of course, I did my little fridge snoop, and I opened their fridge, and there was like tortillas and cheese, and that was it. Like nothing else.
Have a good
Open the freezer, absolutely nothing. Went to go open the cabinets and they just saw me and they're like, there's nothing in there. Like, I just got back from being like out of town. I cleaned everything out before I left because I figured like things were going to expire. So didn't want to deal with it. Did it before I left. I was like, I know that I'm really technically only here for like maybe 24 hours, less than that realistically at this time. But can we please go get you groceries? I will cook, I will meal prep, I will bake, whatever. Can we please go get you groceries? Like, I cannot leave you here with just cheese quesadillas. Like,
you need some protein,
dude. Like, we need to go get you food. And yeah, we ended up going grocery shopping. So it was fine. Made all sorts of food. I made like 10 pounds of chicken.
What did you do with that much food?
I need so much food for them. It was overkill, especially considering the fact that I was only going to be there for like 24 hours at that original intent of when we went grocery shopping. I ended up being there for like another 5 days because we went to a racetrack.
That's what you get the freedom to do.
I literally messaged Keys. I was like, hey, so I know that my vehicle is parked outside your place and like I have stuff at your place and like you have stuff going on and like my stuff being at your place for this long is probably like kind of an inconvenience. But like I could go to the track. Cool with you? And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't you? And I was like,
You get me, my man. Get me.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It was like, I would have done the same thing. I was like, anyways. So, yes, I am a fridge snooper for sure. And if your fridge is too empty, I will ask to go grocery shopping with you. I will cook for you. I will fill your fridge. It's just how I am.
I'm waiting for my fridge to get filled. Guys, I'm still waiting. It's been months and
your fridge is full, ma'am. There's like spot for like a bottle on the shelf.
you see my pantry. It's ridiculous. When we go to make supper, we're like, there's nothing to eat in this house.
It's just because it's not organized. I will come over one day.
I'm going to organize my house. It's my whole life.
I will. I'll sit you down and make you start doing social media posts. Be like, start creating. Here's my Canva account.
You start doing the social media posts, I will clean your house.
Yeah.
I will organize it.
Yeah.
I'm going to a living
I love organizing kitchen.
Oh, my kitchen, my bedroom, my office, our recording room pretty much is essentially what it is.
I love organizing kitchens. I used to skip class in college to organize my pantry. Not like on a regular basis, but like
On a pretty regular basis.
Like maybe like once every couple months. It would just get a little too chaotic and I would just need to have like a reset day. It wasn't my fault that that happened to start during the same time as one of my 8 a.m. classes.
That's the thing. College should not have 8 a.m. classes.
No, they shouldn't.
Because they know an 8 a.m. class, nobody is going to show up. Especially on a Friday.
And
They
those always
required Thursday. And like, you know, in college, you commit to that shit. Like, that's not just an acronym then. That is a way of life.
Our Thursday nights in college were always going to the tumbleweed to go dancing.
Because you were in Hickville.
I was in Oklahoma, yes.
See, I was at good old NDSU.
I did go to NDSU for one semester. I made the mistake thinking that I would like it there because of all the high school events that were always held on NDSU's campus. And I love those events. But then I attended NDSU as a student in the fall semester after having gotten spoiled with an Oklahoma winter. And I very quickly realized that I was no longer built for North Dakota winters, and I hated my life for a hot minute. I put my transfer back in for back to Oklahoma State, like the day that classes started.
See, the winters at NDSU, though, they were rough. Like, just being on campus and getting across campus is rough. It's so cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, but Chicago's got nothing on Fargo when it comes to being a windy freaking city. Because I'm like, it is so bad. And I've been to Chicago, and yeah, they get wind because they have the lake effect with the Great Lakes, but we have nothing to block us for miles upon miles
Until you hit Minnesota and you get trees again.
Yeah, you hit into Minnesota, you're fine, you got trees again, but there's nothing in North Dakota to stop the wind.
Somebody's gonna get real angry.
I know, but it's true. There's not much to see in North Dakota besides some cornfields, maybe some bean fields, and then a lot of sugar beet fields.
Yeah.
We love our sugar beets and potatoes.
I do love me some potatoes.
I mean, the potatoes are pretty good, but still.
Yeah.
Not all it is field upon field. You go anywhere else, they have fields there, but like, They're not everywhere because they can't, because there's hills.
There's dense enough populations for IKEAs.
We don't even have an IKEA.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what kind of world is this? Everybody says, hey, go shopping at IKEA, and I just want to go to IKEA, but I don't want to go in the cities, and that's about the only place I have the option to go to IKEA is the cities, and that's next to the Mall of America. Don't get me wrong. I don't people that well.
Same, agreed. That's part of why we started a podcast, so we don't have to go to bigger events and go over people. We can people like one-on-one. Well, I guess most of the time it ends up like 2-on-1. Although last guest we were outnumbered. So
we were what's the last guest?
Yep.
The guest Oh yeah, it was last guest.
Yep.
They were like 2 to like 5. But they were great.
Yeah.
They were
so fun.
They're so selfless.
I've absolutely loved getting the opportunity and the privilege to be able to connect with so many others in the local area as well as like across the nation, because like we have listeners in Canada and we've had some guest inquiries from also across the country as well. So that's been really exciting to see. And I'm really excited for them to be on the show as well. And I think it's so cool how much of a reach that we've been able to have with the podcast so far. And it's been really, really heartwarming how well received it's been so far.
It's definitely been an experience that's not one to be taken for granted. Like getting out there and being able to do what it is we're doing with the podcast. It's very heartwarming. I mean, just the people that we've met and had on the show so far and the ones that are going to be upcoming. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it that we probably thought originally when we did sign up for this. But in all actuality, like, it's really playing out well, and I hope it's being perceived the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been really exciting. But yeah, so I just realized that I never actually finished the other 3 ways to work with me. There's a few ADHD tangents in the mix, but it's fine.
Let's get back to it then.
We're working on it. So yes, RSVPs for the Under Wraps Slumber Party are open.
I'm afraid that's the only part we got to do.
The second option for working with me is our bestie hippie Halloween sessions, which we can do up to 3 friends for that. So it can either just be you and one of your besties or all 3 of y'all. Those are open still currently as well. Individual hippie Halloween sessions will be opening as of August 1st. I'm very excited to offer that set as individual sessions as well, but I am very excited to the hippie Halloween bestie sessions because I typically don't offer up a whole lot of multiple person sessions just because I really enjoy working with people one-on-one. However, the hippie Halloween set that I have been putting together and working on building, and especially one of the props in particular, just absolutely calls for multiple people. So I'm super duper excited for that. And then, yep, third way is individual hippie Halloween sessions, excuse me. Those will be opening on August 1st. And I am currently looking for one couple to come get down and dirty and a lot of bit messy with me and do a very unique and creative couple session together. I have not made the in particular details of that session publicly available yet. I do want to personally kind of test out this particular session with one couple one-on-one first before I offer it as a public thing. So I am kind of being a little bit more reserved on the details of that publicly. But if you and your boo are interested in connecting in a way that you guys haven't previously are okay getting a little bit messy. I promise it's nothing harmful, nothing toxic. You will be safe. It's washable. You want to come have a experience and create something that is completely unique to you two as a couple, then you can come slide into my email, or you can fill out the contact form on my website and let me know that you're interested in the couple session. And I will reach out and I will get all of the details, tell you all of the nitty gritty things, exactly what will be happening during that session with y'all on a phone call, or we can do it over a Zoom call as well. Or if you guys want to go meet for coffee, we can always do that too. I love a good coffee date. So
Coffee is life.
I love supporting different coffee shops in the FM area, and I started doing a monthly photographers coffee meet. And so we've gotten to go check out quite a few different places because we switch it up and go to a new place every month, and it's been super duper fun.
Have you gone to the roasted rail yet?
Not yet. I think we're going to venture to that side of the river starting in August, which I'm really excited. So far, we've kind of made a relatively nice sweep, and so I think it's time to shift across the river there. So there's another place over there as well that popped up on my radar recently. So I'm really excited to have a couple east.
I love the roasted rail, the whole rail district.
It's such a cute area.
They've gotten some really quality business put in there, like that butcher shop.
Oh, God. We had burgers from there last night, and it was so good. I would
everything that we've gotten so far that from them has been an absolute so good.
So good. Yeah. Delicious.
They even have a little bakery and they make little treats for dogs.
Yeah.
Every time. So that when the dogs end up getting a treat even.
And they have the deli there too, so you can get sandwiches and stuff. Yeah. Such a cute area. Also, this summer they've been doing goat yoga at the Rail District with That's the Dream Farm. Ooh. And you, probably am pronouncing that wrong, but Yush Yoga Studio. I believe they're in the Mosaic building near downtown.
We went to the Loco Days parade and we made it a tradition to somehow figure out how to get one of the Rail District's bags that they hand out every year.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually brought the one that we got last year, and that was the bag that we used for candy for my daughter. So then my husband kind of held it up and was like, hey, we need a new one. So we ended up getting their new one. And in there, there's a salon in the Rail District.
Mm-hmm.
And their prices, fantastic. They offer almost every service you could think of, from waxing to eyebrows to full color and hair, perms and nails and all that. And I was like, damn. And these prices, they go right along with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much of a variety. And I want to say it's Nygaard Nursery that's set up over there with their greenhouses for
those were super reasonably priced too, because we were on a waiting list for a certain tree at that nursery. I spent a lot of time in the Rail District, being over on Moorhead. And
West Pizza.
Oh my God, West Main Pizza. If you haven't had it, go check it out because
there's such a phenomenal crew. I have loved West Main Pizza ever since their original Ada location. They were actually one of the drivers who I worked with for dirt track racing back in my high school days. They were one of their sponsors, and so I've always loved them and still have great relationships maintained there, which has been really great.
So I'm from originally from Ada. So
yeah.
I know, I don't know on a personal level the owners, but I've known them my whole life.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah. I was super excited to see that they were opening the Rail District location and being closer. I'm like, oh goodness, thanks. I don't have to drive as far anymore. Thank goodness.
They're garlic cheesy bread. My God. And you can add extra butter to it if you want, or I mean, I don't need to add the extra salt because I think they do the perfect amount the first time. But if you are a salty person, you can add more. But you don't need to. The butter, yes, add the butter. It's butter great.
I'm just picturing the Salt Bae meme again. Anytime somebody says salty, I think of that or like the Morton salt girl, but like the memes every time. But
I actually have a free scoop of ice cream to go there now. So might have to go get some West Main pizza here pretty soon.
yum. Yeah. But yeah, so there's all sorts of different ways that you can work with me. I do still take on the occasional automotive client, but I also there have transitioned to wanting to be much more intentional with what I am shooting for the automotive world. But I do have a couple clients that refuse to go anywhere else. So, of course, I will always pull out my camera for them. They've been with me since the start and they've built that relationship over the years and have maintained it. And I'll always have a love and appreciation for those clients. So I'm always willing to do a little something extra with my camera for them if they ask nicely.
Say please. Mind your P's and Q's.
Yep. I did have another photographer friend that recently I had like sent some work their way and they're like, if this pans out, I will suck your toes. I was like, please don't. I was like, I love you too, but please don't.
No, no, no. Don't even say that to me, please.
Know that you're joking, but like it was really warm outside and my shoes are like sparkly, so it's pretty much like having my feet wrapped in aluminum foil outside.
Which is perfect for you, but
so trust me, you don't want my toes in your mouth. Please don't.
I don't even want you touching my toes, so let's not put them in your mouth.
Don't look at my feet. Thank you.
I don't understand people's obsessions with feet. I think feet are disgusting. Like I don't like my husband's feet. I don't like my feet. Like the only time my feet are allowed to be touched is if I am paying somebody to do a pedicure. That's the only time I'll allow somebody to touch my feet. They do love me a pedicure, but
I was gonna say something. I'll refrain.
I will pay them to touch my feet, but otherwise, I don't want nobody touching them.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's fine. That's fine. The feet don't weird me out, but also please don't put my feet in your mouth. You know? Like let my feet just be feet.
Let me just walk around in them, okay?
The only time that you need to be concerned about my feet is if they're cold and you're my partner. In which case, so sorry. Because they're going on your legs.
You're about to warm them up.
Or you need to sit on them.
That is that is like the reason you got to have a partner in the winter is just so you can stay warm.
No, my most recent reason is because I am incapable of opening salsa jars. I finally confessed to not being able to open the jars the last time that they were out of town. And I jokingly told them, I was like, I really debated on sending you a message and saying we need to implement like a rule that you have to loosen the jars before you leave town because I couldn't open them and I struggled so bad for so long. And I thought it was just a little bit of salsa for my food. And he was like laughing. And then, sure enough, walk away, grab my phone, open Facebook. First meme I see is something about like, gotta give men credit. They are pretty good at opening jars, though. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
If he just hears you and goes, I know what this person
Exactly.
They need this.
Exactly.
So it's gonna like bring them a bunch of things to look through.
Yep. But yeah, there's all sorts of ways that you can work with me.
Now that we know how to work with you, how do we get a hold of you?
Oh, goodness.
Like, what are your socials? How do we get in touch with you? How do we see some of the work that's been put out there that we're allowed to see?
Yeah. So for my boudoir business, you can go to, I don't know why my voice just cracks so bad. You can go to my website, wildwred.com. Wild W Red is also my social media handle for most things other than Facebook. It is like all spelled out and is Wild with Red Boudoir. So you can see all of my work there. If you really want to go creep on my old automotive pages that I never update, you can go check out Red Coyote Images or Red Coyote _ images on Instagram. And then if you are a driver or a team needing program help and help setting your program up for success and profitability, yes, it is fucking possible, drivers. Just saying. Y'all just need to realize that y'all are a marketing agency, not just a driver.
Get it together, drivers. Let's do this. Let's make money.
It is possible. Just don't be a dumbass. I promise. Also, pay attention to the details because that's where your money goes. Promise, yeah. But if you are a driver or a team, that was so aggressive. Sorry, man, but it's mostly y'all. Hopefully y'all like nag at each other in the shop often enough that doesn't bother you too bad. Maybe I'll have to clip that out. Probably not. We're full sending this. It's fine. Anyways, if you're a driver or a team looking to take your program to the next level, or even if you are just starting out and you want to start your program off on the right track and set it up for success from the beginning, you can reach out to me at trackdaddymotorsports@gmail.com, or you can also find me on Instagram at trackdaddy.motorsports and send me a DM there as well. I think that's all of them. Oh, no, podcast things. LOL. There's so many.
It's almost like another job for you. Oh, you should have a separate social media just for that.
I do.
Personal. Hold all of them.
But also podcast socials. You can follow us on all platforms at Real Wild Podcast, or you can also find all of our links in our link tree as well. But we are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook, we are on there as the Real Wild Podcast. Instagram as Real Wild Podcast. We're not on TikTok yet because I just don't open TikTok personally, and it's fine. So we have not done.
I don't know how to start a TikTok. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I really don't want to put the camera. So
yeah, we'll figure that. Yeah, that's a later ordeal for sure. We have merch. I feel like there's something else that I'm forgetting from our link tree, but anyways, we have all the things for the podcast. Everything is in that link tree, and we'll have all the links in the show notes as well. So you can go hunt for them there. If you would like to follow my personal social media, or my personal Instagram, I guess, rather, you can follow me. It is Miss Coyote Cate. Cate is spelled with a C, Cate. And there are underscores in between the words. So Miss _Coyote _Cate. And I do have most of my other Instagram accounts linked in my bio there as well. So if you need a one-stop shop to get you all the accounts that you're trying to follow, my personal is the go-to for that.
I don't know how you keep them all straight.
I don't.
I barely know which one our podcast ones are. If they weren't linked to my social medias, I'd be struggling real hard.
Yeah, I think I have like 6 Instagram accounts in total, counting my personal, but still. And then I have a few others that I manage, which is why mine go neglected. I can handle other people's and keep their stuff going. My own social media, I'm cool with just being like a little silent person. I'm introverted. Not everybody needs to know what's going on in my life at all times. Like, I have my select few that keep me accountable and will call me out if necessary. And otherwise, I just kind of roll with life. And what I put out is things that I feel inspired to put out. And
No bull.
Too much.
Well, it's been great hearing about all of the things, Kate. There's a lot of things. And
There is a lot.
wow, you are a very, very busy person.
My life runs on calendars, Red Bull, spreadsheets, and a custom made planner that's like an inch thick.
Always on that planning.
It's my favorite thing.
I wish I used my planner better, but I do have like a task list that I use for work that works fantastic because in my position, I'm everywhere but nowhere but everywhere at once.
Yep.
And I've got people pulling me in different directions, calling me back to back, or asking me for different things. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm one person. Things take things.
Yep.
And I don't make just magic happen like you guys seem to think. I do not have a magical wand that goes, and you get a work order, and you get a work order, and you get. No, that's not how it works.
That is very
I try.
relatable.
I try my hardest.
Yep, that is very relatable. I am that person in all aspects of all of my businesses. It's why
I can guarantee you.
I'm not on social media. You gotta take a back seat. So yeah, it's been real. It's been wild. It's been real wild.
Well, thanks for coming on the show as my guest today.
Thanks for having me.
See you next week. The Real Wild
It's been
podcast.
It's been real. It's been wild. Until next time, y'all. Stay wild.